friends.
Welcome back to Where Are We Growing?
Where are we growing again?
We're on the couch again.
Yes, we are on the opposite side. We have the cat again, Cece. Hello.
Our executive producer.
Yes, she does all the work, all the heavy lifting.
We just talk, she does the rest.
Yeah, we basically do nothing here. Well, what are we talking about this week?
Today we're going to be talking about planting in small spaces.
Yes, we both live, you live in a house setting. I live in a little one-bedroom apartment, but we both have issues with and challenges with growing in small spaces and just having tons of plants with not tons of room.
Yeah, the plants per square footage ratio is a little off.
Yes, it's a little crazy. And people still ask me, like, how do you still have room for plants? Keep bringing plants home. Where are you making room? And it just happens, right?
I will say you are very creative.
I am very creative.
You're the Tetris plant lady.
I do. My plants have to get used to shifting around a lot. There's some that have to stay in certain spaces, but I don't have a lot of huge plants in my apartment. Like, there's not many things that are above like a 6 or 8 inch pot. Most things are in like a little 4-inch pot. So it's just like tons of tiny plants. And I try and get rid of things too, so that helps.
Yeah. Is your Ring of Fire like your biggest space-taking square footage plant, I feel?
I have like the hanging plants, and I have the giant rabbit's foot fern and my big monstera. So there are things that take up a lot of room, but they have their special corners.
The staple pieces.
Yes. Yeah, there's like, oh, there it is. Yep. And they're in the background of everything. And well, actually, my big monstera doesn't make an appearance anymore. She's guarded by my bunny gate, so the cat can't get near it, because I used to have a big like 10-inch I think like a big 10-inch pot of monstera, and it was just like gangling all over the place, and my cat wouldn't stop sitting in it. It was just like
that dirt.
Yeah, they love just like hanging out in there. I have a really disturbing picture of her in the middle of the night with her eyes glowing, just sitting in the pot. And I'm like, can you please get out? I just want to sleep. Well, do you want to talk a little bit about your general setup?
Yeah.
And just how that's going with your small plant area? Because most of your plants are in your bedroom, right?
Yes. So I'm living with my friend, and so I have my bedroom, and she has cats. And so to maintain the proper plant care, I have pretty much all of my plants in my room, so I can add a little bit more control. There's a couple that are like out in the living room and like higher shelves and hanging where we can see, because we're in the living room right now. So I keep most of my plants in my room just for that aspect, because I can't just have them out on the floor. And Clifford, the cat, loves to shred. He's like a paper shredder. He takes his teeth and he just grinds through the leaves. So to protect my plants, it's the best setup for me. And I had kind of the same situation in my old house, where it was mostly in my bedroom. A couple spilled out into the living room, but I've always
that jungle vibe.
Yeah, just always had that overclustered. Plants are 90% of my living space.
All cats are different too. So there's some that leave plants alone and couldn't care less, and some that just cannot just leave them alone.
Yeah,
right.
We both deal with that.
Oh yeah,
to different degrees. You've got a plant eater. I've got a plant shredder.
Yes, there's a bunch of plants that are in my cat's reach, but I've learned that she goes for certain textures, certain leaf shapes. Most like normal philodendrons she couldn't care less about. Like I have like a Prince of Orange and even like a Brazil or whatever, just right in her face, and like a big painted lady, but she likes, for some reason, the monsteras. She likes to bite the leaves when they're coming in fresh. She loves like biting off a fresh growth point,
so
which
soft
is just
and squishy.
Painful. And she won't eat it. For the people listening, she doesn't really eat plants. She just kind of bites them and leaves them there. She does, like, she ate a rabbit's foot fern leaf recently, which is like pet safe, not pet food, but she threw it up anyways and hopefully learned her lesson. Of course, on my rug, of all places. My entire apartment is like fake hardwood flooring, and then she has to go on the rug. That's always how it goes. Well, my space, I started collecting plants in my bedroom, like at my mom's house. So I'm used to just having plants in my way in general. Like I I'm in their way, really. They're not in my way. It's the other way around. So, like, I got used to moving plants, like, daily. Like, I'd have to be, okay, time to do my makeup.
Yeah, your dedication to moving plants.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking about that yesterday. I used to have, the place I'm in now, I used to have plants all over the floor. And to keep my cat away from them, I would have to put them away at night. So then it was just for lighting purposes, and because I had a grow light that was just in a really weird lamp that I couldn't position correctly, so it would only point at the floor. And I was like, okay, I guess these plants are sitting on the floor. And I even had a heat mat on the floor. It was a whole thing. And obviously it's like pandemic time. I don't really have anywhere to go. So I was there all day long to monitor them. My cat wouldn't disturb them, but I didn't want to risk it at night because she knows when I'm around, but she knows when I'm not paying attention, and then she goes in.
She's smart.
Yeah, she's evil. So when you have to repot something, what does that look like for you when it's like time to get out the soil and get dirty, as I say?
Okay, well, I can't wait for summer, so I don't have to do it in my room.
Oh,
basically,
you go outside then?
Well, yeah, so I like to do it outside if possible, just because it's so much easier to clean up, and I like taking the hose and like spraying off the roots and all that. But when it's cold, I just pull up the rug in my room and just do it right on the floor. So I pretty much am cleaning my floor daily, which is super annoying. But
I should pull up my rug. I sit on my rug and plant things, and there's soil all over my rug. I'm throwing this rug away when I move, I know for sure, but...
Yeah, so I just pull it up and I just pretend that it's cement, and then I just clean up afterwards.
Genius. Do you have like a little vacuum, or just like you just sweep up?
I have a full-size broom and a hand broom behind my door. And like yesterday, I took the little Roomba and I just closed my door, put him in there, and let him go to town.
Your Roomba's a guy? Do you have a name for it?
I think Brenna calls it Dwight.
Dwight? Like Dwight, like from The Office Dwight?
I don't know. It's like Dwight or Daryl. I think it starts with a D. I don't really know.
We'll check back in.
My old Roomba was called Lil Dude.
Lil Dude?
Lil Dude.
Lil Dude's doing his thing?
When I had my own, yeah.
I would love a Roomba, but oh, my cat would go nuts.
Cece doesn't even know it exists. Clifford freaks out. He hides downstairs, will not come up while it's doing its thing.
I would love that. That would really be helpful. I have a mini vacuum. It's really kind of crappy. It's a little like Bissell pet eraser vacuum. It has a couple of attachments. It does its thing, but obviously it's not very big. Yeah. It doesn't it has like okay power, but I have to like charge it all the time. It's wireless, which is very handy. But
we need to get some Dysons.
We do. Dyson sponsor us. Send us little vacuums. I do have a Dyson hairdryer, but I don't even have a Dyson vacuum. What the heck? I didn't buy the Dyson hairdryer. My boyfriend bought it for me for Christmas. I always like to...
What a great gift.
Well, I like to clarify that, because I'm not the one to spend $400 on a hairdryer, but I'm probably going to spend $400 on a plant, I'm sure, at some point. I'm sure a lot of people think that's crazy, but I'm hoping a lot of people who are listening to me are like, no, I get that. Yeah. That's me too. Yeah. But my space right now, I mean, obviously there's plants all over the place. They're hanging from the ceiling and hanging from the walls. I like mount a couple things. I just try and make it work. I even have this like little corner shelf that I got from like TJ Maxx or something, or Home Goods. Those are great places to find like plant accessories or pots or whatever, baskets, stands. And that's anything to like keep them elevated, because my cat is really curious and she will like jump up. Like I have to pack the shelves literally completely full. So, speaking of cats, here comes Cece.
Sorry, through our setup.
Well, at least we have our microphones here. She just jumps on the phone, but it doesn't matter because we have... Oh my god, that is my phone. Go away. I'm losing my train of thought. Okay.
So, this episode really changed from small spaces to plants and cats.
Well, yeah, it's really tough with... Well, yeah, we'll probably be talking about like pet stuff in a future episode anyways, but I have to literally pack the plants as like pot to pot as full as possible so that she physically cannot jump up there. But I have to do that anyways because there's nowhere else to put the plants. There's no space.
Yeah, because you're really creative. Like the way you set up your plants because obviously you live in an apartment, so you can't like for me, I have that huge shelf setup that I can install. Like you're in an apartment, like you can't really do that.
Literally mostly in my living room because I have like 1.5 windows.
Yeah,
there's no sunlight coming in.
So you have to be really creative. Where mine, and because you do it really creative, I think it looks really nice.
Really? I think it looks like a disaster.
Like okay, it's a lot overall, but like when you look at each area, it's like each area itself is really well done. So even though there's a lot going on, it's overall well done. Where I just have I'm just like, okay, plants, here you go on shelves, enjoy it. Here, smush, smush, smush. Like,
I think it says I'm really simple with my pots. If you know me, you know that I love a white pot. Most of my pots they're in like something gray or maybe terracotta or just something creamy white because I like the plants to do the talking. So, and with all of them shoved together like that, and with how many plants are there, I can't. Just colorful pots would make it look just like
insane.
Yeah, it would look like a circus. I can't. So there's some like gold pots. There's some little accents here and there, but I have to keep it kind of plain because with the amount of plants and the amount of like textures, because I also don't have very aesthetically pleasing plants.
Yeah.
They're very, like, the petioles are super long, the leaves are thin, they're really just interesting looking. And when they're all shoved together, it's like, what is going on? It's really a mystery. But I do have a lot of grow lights because, obviously, I said I don't have any sunlight coming in. So there's a couple on the ceiling, like strip lights, which I figured out recently is not really giving off that much light when I went around with my meter. And there's 2 giant like GE grow lights hanging from the sides of the wall, and those give off a lot of light, so I have to make sure that those are not burning my plants. I don't even have timers really. You're more fancy with your lighting in your small area, aren't you?
I like to have everything up, what is that called? Streamlined, so I don't have to deal with it. Like I have 2 lights I have to turn on because their timers are built in and the timers just don't work. Like they'll go on for 8 hours, but what 8 hours of the day, you never know. So I have to turn those 2 on, and that's like too much work for me.
That's it. You're like, I'm not turning anything else on.
Yeah, mine are all on smart timers, so I can just be like, hey Google, turn the plant lights off. Hey Google, turn the plant lights on.
Yeah.
If I need to, outside of their regular set schedule. So.
Sorry, if you're listening to this and your Google just
shoot.
me.
Well, if it's anything like my Google, it's not going to listen.
I used to have an Alexis, and it would pick up Alexa. It would pick up everything.
You'd be like, hey Alexa, and it's like, what do you want?
I do have a random actually Google Home in my apartment somewhere, and oh my god, I don't know what is wrong with the thing. I don't really use it very much. It stays plugged in. I think my neighbors accidentally connect to it sometimes because it'll randomly start playing music, and I have to start screaming, Google stop, Google stop. And actually, just a few days ago, I'm not kidding, I was sitting there with my boyfriend, we were watching something on TV, and the Google starts going 4, 6, 9, 8, 7, 8, 9, 6. What? And I'm like, what is going on? So I should just unplug her because that's too much. My Alexa was the cord was bitten by my bunny, as a lot of things are destroyed by my bunny. I think it's the first time I'm mentioning her on this podcast. I have a bunny. She is in her X-pen most of the time. I mean, I don't have plants on the floor anyways, but anything that's within her reach, she'll just see as lettuce. She's only taken 2 bites out of my golden dragon. So that was a fun one. It was a newer plant. It was when I had first got it too, and I was like, well, it's been initiated. A plant really honestly doesn't feel like mine until I've messed it up a little bit. Do you feel that way? I mean, anyone else, please let me know. Does anyone feel the same way? Yeah. It's like, now this is my plant.
It's taken on a piece of your personality.
Yeah, there's a story to it. The stories I have.
See, usually when something happens to my plants, it's like out of my control and way too far gone, and it's just like, okay, well, this is dead now.
We were talking about repotting. When I repot in my tiny little small space, some of you see on my TikTok, I usually have a little box, like half cardboard box that doesn't have any sides on it, that I plop the plant in so I can kind of keep the soil contained in there. I don't really, because obviously the bag of soil is right next to me, so when I grab a handful of soil, it gets all over the floor until it makes it to the pot.
I will say another repotting hack I do is I have a bin of potting mix, and so then when I put the soil in, I just hold the plant over the bin, and then
I
the
should
rest
do that.
just falls out.
I was literally just thinking of doing that yesterday when
That
I
is
emptied my cats.
a definite must.
Yeah, I should do that because I have empty like cat litter bins.
Oh, that'd be perfect.
I should just empty my soil into there, and I think those like seal up too because you don't want gnats obviously in your soil. So as long as you can seal it up, yeah, having your soil like pre-mixed or being able to like easily access that is really nice for a little small area. But I want to get one of those. They have these like plastic things that like fold out and then clip them on the sides.
The little mats, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I saw one on my site.
Yeah, I saw like a little repotting mat. Yeah,
I don't have the cute one. It's like gross blue, but
way to sell it.
It looks like a tarp, but
maybe I can DIY one. What am I talking about? What do I think about? The second I think about buying something, and then I go and look at it and see how much it is, and like, I could make that. Eventually, I have to be like, it looks like a disaster in here. It looks like DI. Why did you do that? So repotting is really a disaster a lot of the time. But then when you go to water plants, do you go around to water things individually? Or
so my watering habits change weekly. I used to gather up all my plants and I'd put them in the shower and then I'd just shower them off. I will say it has changed a little bit since moving to Minneapolis because the water quality is not the same in Milwaukee.
You're like not trying to use
Milwaukee
the tap
actually
water.
has like some of the best water quality of a big city in the US where this water, like my plants mold. It's like even when I put it in my bucket to like put fertilizer in it, like it's pool water blue. So it's like very chemically, like my fish are obviously not thriving.
Oh yeah,
because of the water. Like,
your fish are a whole other thing.
So it changes. So for me, what I've been doing now is I've just been using fish tank water exclusively because it's obviously been dechemicalized where everything else has the chemicals in it. So I'll just take the fish tank water. If I'm adding fertilizer, I'll just do half or a third of whatever the measurement is supposed to be.
Should you fertilize with your fishy water?
So fish tank water,
because it has nitrogen and whatever. You know more about it than I do.
It's more like the same, like that a lightweight organic fertilizer would be. So because it's not usually super congested with decaying matter, it's more of the equivalent of like a 1-1-1 fertilizer. So it's not very strong, or probably with my fish even less, except for when one of them dies and rots in the tank, then I'm sure those levels are elevated. So I'll usually just add really diluted fertilizer to that water. And what I've been doing is I'll do it about once a week. I noticed that my plants are kind of on like a 2 schedule. So like I'll do half the plants one day and then like 4 days later I'll do the other half of the plants.
Did you bring them to the sink or
not anymore?
They all have saucers?
Now every single one has the little drip trays, so then I can just water them, be done with it, because I don't have time to move those.
Genius. I think
it's ugly, but it works.
I think every single one of my plants I bring to the sink to water it. Because I also have one of those, and I highly recommend one of these like things on Amazon that like fold out onto your sink, and it's like a grate. What do you call it?
Yeah, like a sink grate.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I can see in my mind what
metal rollout thing, and you just set your plants on it, and you just water them. It's like so nice to be able to just like have them there, and it's also really handy if you let your dishes pile up. And you still want to water plants and leave them in the sink, but there's no room in the sink. You can just let them drip over your dishes. It's great. So I pretty much have that thing out 24/7. I don't even roll it up anymore because I water plants every day. There's no schedule, no nothing going on. So I just water plants when they need water.
I just wait until I see one plant that obviously needs watering, and then I'll check them all.
Yeah, like someone's probably thirsty. I should check everybody else. There's only a few of my plants, like my giant monstera, and then I have this like micans that's hanging up in a box that's just really hard to get out because it's like growing up the twine. So it has a saucer in there, and I water that in there. And then also I have little carnivorous babies, so I have to have distilled water on hand, and then I go and water them in their drip tray. But everything else I have to bring to the sink. and
That's
water
too
it.
much work. I can't move stuff. I'm just...
It's insane. And there's usually, I'm sure it drives me for nuts. They're all over the kitchen usually. There's just plants everywhere. I'm sure there are a couple plants on my sink right now that I think about it. Yeah, a couple philodendrons. There's always a couple.
Yeah, watering is a chore that I don't like to put much work into. I don't like to put much work into any of my plants, to be honest.
Easy care. That's the vibe. So the tough part about having plants in small spaces, they're all grouped together, is obviously if one plant gets a pest, it's kind of can spread like wildfire, right?
Yeah, I actually just had to deal with this.
Ooh, tell us. Do tell.
Those stupid croutons.
Croutons.
They all got spider bites. Every single. That's why
Serves you right.
That's why they're all on the floor right now, because they're just waiting to get kicked to the outside once it gets warm enough.
Get out of my sight.
I don't know how they just all magically appeared. They all. I'm assuming somehow that's where that little Mican's cutting got it. I don't know, but it was a night. Like fortunately, they were next to like just regular philodendrons and like plants that they would choose not to go to, as compared to a croton. Like there were no alocasias near them or like anything that's like a magnet.
Ooh. Yeah, like let's just go on these dry leaves.
So fortunately they didn't spread too bad. So with all the other plants, I just like sprayed them down and wiped them, and they seem to be good. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, knock on wood as well. Haven't had any like horrible spreading disasters. I have my plants grouped together super closely, so if obviously one plant gets a pest, it's not long before it can spread to another. So I do have to inspect my plants like pretty often. I know that that's not realistic. Not everyone's like just sitting at home with their plants 24/7 like I am usually, but
yeah, when you have that many, it's hard.
It's tough. But if you do have like one area grouped together, there's a lot of plants. Like it is probably good practice to check them. And I do what I call like a quick check, where I go around and just like flip the leaves over and look at the undersides, because that's where a lot of your pest problems can start. And we'll do a whole pest episode, but just doing a quick check is helpful in just kind of trying to prevent a disaster. And yeah, it's not fun when you have to spend all your day, you're planning on doing something fun, and then you have to pause all that. And then
like when I was taking the squirrel to the rescue, I found a rabid squirrel the other day.
Oh yeah, just like that.
That's when I found the spider mites, and I was like, spider mites take priority over the squirrel.
Yeah, the other day Brandon rescued a squirrel. How did you find it?
I just opened the door to grab the Amazon package, and it just like scuttled out. It was like, I screamed. Full, like the startle was there.
I was losing my mind at this video. I was like, and then just a couple videos later, you're just on your way to the animal rescue. What did you?
It's the Minnesota Wildlife Rescue Clinic.
Yeah, shout out to them. Yes, I can't believe you were like, well, this rabid squirrel's my responsibility now. I can't. Only plant people, honestly. Only plant people would do that. But yeah, no pests in small areas, no squirrels around the plants either. I'm glad it didn't get out of the box and get all over your car.
Yeah, it would have been a nightmare. I wouldn't be here to film this. I'd probably be crashed to the side of the highway, dead.
No. Oh, I can't. Well, yeah, I think, and then, so what do you have for, let's see, shelving and like, you have an IKEA greenhouse,
yes.
right?
Which I truly think, if you can do it easily, I don't think someone should go above and beyond to get it. The only reason I have it is because I literally went to IKEA for some $5 thing, and there just happened to be one in stock. Yeah. And I was like, this is my chance.
Yeah, because they often, I don't really pay attention to them because I don't plan on getting one, at least for a while.
Exactly. I don't think it should be your goal to get one. Like, if you want one, cool. Like, absolutely.
You can do something else. And I've seen other people like, shout out hanging houseplants. Brian. He has some in like this big...
The big wooden hutch.
Yeah, the big wooden hutch. Yeah. It's like, let's check on the anthuriums.
Oh my God, my parents have one. I should
rescue it and or steal
they
it.
would never give it to me. But
You can turn anything into a little
that
greenhouse
one's really-
cabinet.
yeah,
You don't need a
absolutely.
little IKEA cabinet, but I do hear that they're like never there, right? Or
Yeah,
can you
they're
not order them online, or people just want to pick them up in person?
They're so
what's the
out
deal?
of stock. Well, IKEA is having, because of the pandemic, they're having very bad stock issues in general. And so now, like, if you want to order it online, it's kind of like you just have to get a notification. You have to order it really
Yeah, I
quick.
get it.
And then pay $150 shipping.
Oh,
So-
yuck. No, thank you. I guess that's why people want to pick you up. I take IKEA for granted because I grew up around in the Twin Cities, so I've been going to IKEA in Bloomington near Mall of America for a while. I mean, my mom and I would literally go there for lunch.
Yeah.
Just go to IKEA. And so people are like, I'm road tripping a couple hours to IKEA. So, yeah. Shout out to everyone who has to like drive really far or doesn't have an IKEA near you. I feel bad.
Yeah, that was.
It's just a
most
fun
of my life.
activity too. Just
I love
going to IKEA.
Oh my
It's
God.
fun to just mess around and get inspiration too. It was fun as a young adult, but now it's even more fun as a real adult.
Absolutely. And like all their plant stuff they have.
Oh my gosh, yes, they have these like 99-cent white pots that I have like 20 of, and all of my plants are in them. You can. They don't come with a hole, but it has like one of those things where there's like almost a hole, so
Yeah,
you can like
it's,
punch
like,
one in
ready
there
to
really
go.
easily. Yeah, so I just like grab my little embroidery scissors that are just they probably hate me. I use them for plants and everything, anything but embroidery or sewing, and just like punch a big hole in the pot, and yeah, love IKEA. But yeah, I don't have.
You could probably benefit from a cabinet, but I also don't know where you'd put it.
I know, that's why I'm
But
waiting until I move
The good
because
thing
there's
is,
nowhere to put it
is
right
you can
now.
put it in your if you found some space in your bedroom, like you should put it in the darkest corner.
Yeah, because you'll just have it set up with lights anyways, so it doesn't matter.
So I definitely think they're a good setup. And then
They're
I
so
just have
expensive. Well, also with how much people add on to them with sealing them and all the lights and the fans and the
because like
humidifiers,
the
it's
cabinet
so
itself
expensive.
was $120.
Yeah, because you have the short black,
the red stuff, the newest one. But with all costs incurred, it was like $290 something.
curd. You're so Wisconsin.
My big vocabulary.
I do recommend checking Facebook Marketplace too. People throw up like IKEA greenhouse cabinets or whatever on there all the time.
Do they? I was
People-
thinking about that. Do they upcharge them?
Not
Like, do they
really.
pay more than you would in the store?
I don't think so. No, people are just come and get it. But they go so fast because the
Yeah.
plant people are on that. They're like, hey, or because people will send it to any group chats I'm in, and they're always gone before I even notice.
No. See, I'm just so slow on Facebook. I don't ever see anything when it's new.
I'll go on there. I like going on there after dark when everyone's asleep and all of the plant purges are done and just see what scraps are left over. I love it. I've been checking my local groups more because I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to pay for shipping. I can just go and get it from someone. Because we live in a pretty populated area with a bunch of plant people. So it's pretty handy. Well, it's getting about that time. So Brandon, where can people find you if they want to hear more of your lovely voice?
Well, you can hear me on the TikTok, BR_Anaconda, which I realized I didn't clarify in the first episode. I just said Branaconda. That is not me. You will find other people.
BR_. Usually that's you. When I'm looking you up, I just go BR_ and there you are when
Yep.
I'm like sending you stupid videos.
So you can find me with that on TikTok and Instagram. You can find my business page, monsteraplant.co on Instagram. And that's also the handle, not the handle. It's an
The
actual
website.
URL. That's
The
the
URL.
URL, which technically is against Instagram's rules. So I hope they don't catch up on that.
Oh, really? You can't have.
It's a new rule. You can't have your URL as your username. So no one tell them, please.
Oh my God. Instagram. You know what? I'll say it now. Instagram, you suck.
Yeah.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is Nicole, like a horse, NAYYCOLE. TikTok is Nicole Larson with an extra N at the end. I think that's pretty much it. And you can follow us on Instagram. Where are we growing? Mm-hmm. And this was episode 1. Well, the big episode.
This is like our main content.
Yeah, we had our
episode.
intro. This was our big one. If you guys want to send us a little email, send us questions. What is that again?
Where are we growing at gmail.com.
We love it.
And
Yeah.
also give us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
As we're recording this, we're not quite on there yet. It's been quite a struggle. So
Oh yeah, we've been. By the time you listen to this podcast has been in the works for probably months already. many headaches and hurdles, but here we are recording because we're sure we'll get it up at some point.
Yeah, it will be there.
Yeah, probably not in April when we're recording this. We'll probably see you in May.
Yeah.
Hopefully not June.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you again this Thursday, and we'll be talking more about small spaces, kind of like our, what we wish we could do, and
hopes and dreams.
Yeah, and then just more in detail, little tips and tricks we have for planting and growing in small spaces.
We'll see you guys Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.